Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. It means a lot. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making it. Today we're back with our True Contenders of Survivor 41 video. I'm excited to get into these True Contenders. This is going to be a weekly thing on the podcast up until the merge, which could be this next episode. So this could possibly be the last version of this episode, or of this little series we have going on in the pre-merge. Maybe we'll create a new one. I'm thinking that maybe we do like the final 13 of Survivor 41 or the final 7, and then we'll talk about the people that are left in the game. Just to remind you guys, we have the post-game show tomorrow. I'm really excited for that one. Me, Skylander, maybe we'll have some special guests, Snuffed, maybe Underdog. Who knows who's going to pop up? You just never know when you come to the live show after the episode airs, maybe 5 minutes after, 2 minutes after, depending on the day. And if that's so, let's get right into the video. But first, 22% of you guys who... Oh my God. 72% of you guys who are watching these videos are not subscribed. Let's change that. It's easy and it's free. And if that's so, let's get right into the video. So first of all, how did Genie do? So obviously what I like to do with this series is talk about the person who got voted out and if I had them as a contender or not. Hopefully I didn't. And I actually did have Genie as a contender. This is now 3 weeks in a row where I had the person who got voted out as a contender. So I had Genie as like the worst player on the season, the worst strategical player on the season by far for weeks on weeks. And so last week I decided, you know what, I'm feeling good about Genie from the edit. Let me go ahead and put Genie in. And because I don't think that Ua's going to lose the challenge. I think that Luvu is, because they built up the whole Erica storyline. Turns out Ua lost the challenge. And so we end up having a boot in which that's very obvious in Genie. I was just banking on the fact that the way they were editing it, I felt like that tribe was going to stick together. I feel like Yase was definitely solid together, and I thought that they were going to have Luvu go one time before they merged all of the tribes together. But instead, I look like an idiot. I finally have some faith in Genie. Of course, she gets voted out the episode that I swap her from non-contender to contender. And so hopefully I can break this streak of time. Well, maybe I won't, because maybe we'll just merge this next episode. But hopefully I can break the streak of bad guesses as to who the real contenders are of this season. And so without further ado, let's get right into it. First we have Yase. So first off, I have Tiffany. So I think Tiffany personally is a character that I have no faith in winning. I don't think Tiffany's good at the strategical game. And you could say hi to my dog in the background barking. I'd say hi Potter, hi. There we go. All right, continuing. Tiffany. I feel like Tiffany has no strategical prowess in the game. I feel like Tiffany has no social prowess in the game. And lastly, I feel like Tiffany has no physical prowess in the game. I don't have faith in Tiffany as a player. I don't like her as a character, and I don't think she has a chance to beat anybody left in the game. I think her only shot was maybe Genie. But now that Genie's gone, I feel like Tiffany has zero chance of winning the game. And if Tiffany wins, then I'll just be shocked. I'll be absolutely dumbfounded. I think what Tiffany lacks is the ability to calm down. I think Tiffany's super hyper, but not in a good way. Not in like a Tony, type of hyper way. But she's like passive in the realms of the game that she needs to be aggressive in, and she's aggressive in the realm that she needs to be passive in. Now, I will say her ability to make her relationship with both Liana and Evie are impressive to an extent. But at the same time, she was put in a perfect spot with two girls who want to work with all girls, especially Evie. So I feel like it wasn't really her doing; it was more of Evie's doing, of bringing all of the women together. In her, Liana, and Tiffany, and also the guys making a silly decision to vote for Abraham. I just feel like overall, I think that Evie is a lot more accomplished in this tribe, whereas in Tiffany is kind of a follower to Evie. So just to clarify, Tiffany is in fact my non-contender for this tribe, and notice how I said not plural, because I think the rest of the 3 people on this tribe have a genuine shot to win. So first of all, let's talk about Xander. I think Xander, obviously he's on the outs of this tribe, but I see no scenario in which he didn't go home pre-merge, and whatever this like weird merge with a caveat is, I don't think we see Xander going unless the other 2 tribes can combine, which I don't see happening. I feel like the Ua tribe has their pick as to which tribe that they're going to back, or really what I see is that the Yase tribe is picking between either the Ua or the Luvu tribe, and I feel like with that it gives the Yase tribe all of the power at the merge. And so I feel like the relationships that Xander has made have really served him well. Obviously, making that bond with, I believe it was Danny on in the first episode, and then on top of that, still keeping a working relationship with Evie, even though Evie may be kind of playing him and going with the girls more. He made a better relationship, with the girls than David did, or at least he's been able to stay. Whereas in David, obviously got blindsided, and really just if he can get out of this tribe, I think he can win a bunch of challenges at the merge and stay safe until he can integrate himself into a good alliance. My issue is eventually he's going to lose a challenge. No one loses. Nobody wins every single challenge post merge. But overall, I feel like I am confident in Xander's ability to win the game if he does get to the end, and so that's why I have Xander as a contender. Moving on, Liana. I think Liana, for me, is always back and forth. Contender, not contender. This past episode made me think, you know what? She's getting more screen time. At this point, I'm comfortable with putting her in the contender spot. I think she has a chance to win. I think she beats a number of people. I think she beats Tiffany, Heather. She probably beats Erica at the end. And she may be able to beat like one more person maybe, which I mean that's like maybe like a card if he rubs people the wrong way like he did on Ua. That's like four people that she can beat, which is pretty good. I mean, so someone like Tiffany can't beat anybody, so it's better than nothing. So I do think that there's people at the end that she can beat, but it's a matter of when your path is so narrowed like that to only 3 or 4 people, that's really hard to create a game plan and then execute it. With that being said, I do think that she's in a good spot with the all women's alliance, and her and Evie are 1 and 2, similar to how Chantel and Ricardo are also 1 and 2. And I don't see Evie wanting to blindside her because Evie probably beats her at the end. And so I feel like her best path to the end is to get deep into the game with Evie and then blindside Evie at like 6 or 7 or maybe 5. Or just beat Evie in fire making, like give up immunity if she wins and beat Evie in fire making. Because if she goes to the end with Evie, she will lose. Speaking of the queen herself, I cannot believe that just came out of my mouth. I apologize to everyone that I've ever loved. No, continuing, but Evie. So Evie has had control over this tribe, not necessarily as much as Chantel has had control over the Ua tribe, but damn close. Evie has control over all the women on this tribe, and she has the best relationship with Xander as well. And as far as I can tell, no one's trying to blindside her. So Xander, the person who's should probably be in theory her biggest enemy, is actually Xander's biggest ally is her. And then on top of that, Tiffany, who even though she may want to go against what Evie wants, that's to blindside Xander, not necessarily to blindside Evie, which is good. So nobody's come after her on this tribe, and the reason why I think she's in a better spot than Chantel is because she has more people on her tribe. She has more numbers, and all of her numbers are allegiant to her. They're very, very loyal to her. Whereas although Chantel has loyal people too, Chantel also has 2 people. She has loyal person, and her person is someone who people aren't necessarily going to like. I think people are going to like Liana, Xander, and even Tiffany very, very much. I think all 3 of those plus Evie can really go out there and integrate into this tribe. And with all 3, and the reason why I have a lot of people on this tribe as contenders is because I think all they're like in this middle tribe, like spot in which that tribe usually has the winner in these 3 tribe seasons, or at least like the middle or like the tribe that's like tied for first. Those tribes usually have the winner, and so it feels like this tribe is set up really well, and so that's why I have 3 people from this tribe, before we even start here. And so I'm really, really confident in this tribe's ability to go far in the game. All right, first for Luvu, we have Heather. I think Heather is the worst player on this season so far. Definitely, I think she is just terrible. I think that Heather has little, ability to make social connections. I think whereas in Tiffany, it like really fails in all facets of the game. Heather's not necessarily like abysmal in any of them, except maybe physical. But it doesn't really matter on her tribe. The issue with Heather is that she cannot make bonds. She doesn't have a bond with the Power 3. Anyone in the Power 3. She doesn't have a bond with Nasir. And even the person who's on the outs, she's not even trying to, make a bond with her and Erica. She shouldn't have any of these bonds. It seems like she's alone from what we've seen. And on top of that, if you want to talk about edit, she's got no edit, zero, except for the challenge. She's gotten basically virtually no edit, and so it seems like she's not a very important character, and so therefore I feel like I can't count her as a true contender of the season. On top of that, I think the only person she beats at the end is maybe Tiffany, maybe. And if that's the case, you got some serious issues because there's no final twos here. It's all final threes. So I feel like she has little chance to beat someone at the end, and I feel like she doesn't have many social bonds, and that's really what wins the game in the end. Just go ask Tommy Sheehan or whoever the hell. Next one I got is Erica. So Erica for me is someone who is in trouble. I think Erica's in trouble to be the merch boot. I think that Erica has tried to make bonds, unlike Heather. The issue is that Erica made the bond with the wrong person in Deshawn. Erica failed to realize that there's a power trio on her tribe, and that talking to one of the people in the power trio all of a sudden isn't going to, lead to good things, especially if she's targeting one person who's also in that power trio. She is on the outside of this power trio, and I feel like she's just the person who they're coming after because she went after Sydney. Danny, Sydney, and Deshawn are in complete control of this tribe, and even when they merge, I think Danny, Sydney, and Deshawn are either going to get flipped on by everybody at the merge, or they're going to gain control. But either way, I think Erica's in a bad spot there, because if they gain control, then she's out, and if they don't gain control, then she gets. I mean, I guess she lives in another round, but she's not very bonded with anybody else, and I feel like if she gets to the end, the only two people that she beats are Heather and Tiffany, and if that's the case, I think you have serious issues with your game as far as jury management and social game overall. And my last non-contender from this tribe is Nasir. I'm very confused at the edit that Nasir's gotten. So obviously he's gotten a positive one. We all knew that he would get a positive one. My issue with Nasir is that Nasir has no gameplay content. That's the big issue with Nasir. Aside from the conversation with the power trio, in which it seemed like he was on the outside of that, which is, I guess, good enough for him to stay alive, but he's like the fourth person there. And so I think they might blindside him, especially because he has that fantastic story that he said out loud publicly now. And so he can no longer keep it a secret. And so it seems like Nasir is not necessarily in with the power trio on his tribe, and I feel like for this tribe, the power trio are all contenders for me, and I feel like the people who aren't just aren't. Even if those three in Nasir, Heather, and Erica go with the other two tribes, when all of Deshawn and Danny and Sydney are gone, then they would just get picked off too. It seems like they're in a bad spot either way because they don't have any bonds made on their own tribe, and you can't make bonds with the other tribes until it merge, and those bonds aren't nearly as strong as the ones that have been forged through all game, like your Shans and Ricards or your Evie and Lianas and Tiffany's. Next, I have Deshawn. So I'm in the middle with Deshawn. I did end up going with a contender, but I'm very iffy because I just have a feeling that Deshawn is going, because I feel like Deshawn is an important character in this season. And whenever someone's given that important character edit, where the edit is showing them hard, I think people in this season who have gotten the hello, I'm an important person in the season edit are Sydney. I don't know if Ricard. I'll go with Sydney, Chantel, Evie, Xander, and who else? And lastly, Deshawn. And so it feels like with Deshawn, if he's going to be important, I don't think he's our winner. I don't think he's our second place finisher, and I don't see him as some sort of robbed god or something. So it seems like the only other option for a big character, our big edit on the season, is that he's a big blindside. I feel like Deshawn is going to be like the Sophie Boot from Winners at War of this season. I feel like Deshawn is going to contribute a very high level of gameplay and get really, really in control. But I think he's going to get too much in control, and whether it's the first vote, second vote, third vote, or fourth vote after the merge, I feel like him, Danny, and Sydney are going to lose control, and he will be the one to be targeted out of that group, because I feel like Danny's too obvious of a target. Sydney's not as much of a threat, and that leaves Deshawn as the biggest threat there strategically, I feel like, overall. And so I'm just worried for the Deshawn's as far as getting blindsided. blindsided, but I can't not put him as a contender, being that he is in a spot of great power where he has connections to the other tribe, and on top of that, he's in complete control of his tribe if they do have a swap. So it seems like he's in a great spot here. Next, I have Sydney. I think Sydney is in the best spot right now in the game, the best spot overall. I think Sydney's in a spot where no one from the other tribe is going to try and vote her out. Even the people who don't necessarily like her, like a Tiffany, for an example, aren't going to necessarily vote her out. I don't feel like that's the case. And although she's rubbed some people the wrong way, it's not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be in the pregame. And I feel like overall with Sydney, she's done a good job of making bonds. So she's made really, really close bonds with both Deshawn and Danny. And I feel like they would both come to her if her name popped up. And I think because Deshawn made that bond with Evie, I feel like they could be in a good spot. My thing is, I'm worried that this trio may get flipped on at the merge. But if we're going off of right now, who is a true contender, I feel like this power trio is definitely all true contenders. And because I feel like Sydney's in the best spot to not get blindsided. If the trio does get blindsided, I have to put her in here for sure. And lastly, I have Danny from this tribe. Danny's also in a great spot. I don't think Danny's really going to go anywhere. I don't see Danny as a huge threat in this situation. Danny, it seems like Danny's in a good spot relationship-wise. I feel like Deshawn would probably pick him over Sydney, which is big because there's certain circumstances in which sub alliances can really become super important and vital in the game. And so if Sydney wants to blindside Danny, I think Deshawn would go to Danny and at least tell him. Whereas if Danny wanted to blindside Sydney, I don't think that Deshawn goes and tells Sydney. And so it feels like he has a stronger bond with Deshawn within that trio, and he also has the best ability to win challenges in that trio and really in that tribe. I think his only competition is going to be like Xander.
Poppy.
And then over on UA, we have Ricard as my non-contender pick. So for me, Ricard, it's tough. I think Ricard's a pretty good strategical player, but similar to someone, that people that we've seen in the past, he kind of rubs people the wrong way. Obviously, from post-game interviews that we've seen from his tribe, people don't really like Ricard. People don't want to work with Ricard, whose name isn't Chantel. Everybody else just doesn't like Ricard, and the only reason that they ever talked to Ricard was to get closer to Chantel. And that's not a very good recipe for success in a social game, is to be the person that nobody likes to talk to. And so for me, Ricard, that's one reason. Other than that, the edit itself is super negative on Ricard. Even like when he does, positive stuff, they give him more of a villainous edit than they do for the same type of things that Chantel does. And I feel like they feed more of that villain edit, whereas with Chantel, she may do something villainous, but they explain like her side of the story a bit more. And so I feel like Ricard is a lot more villainous. Like when he was trying to trick like Genie, they made it seem a lot more cold and villainous than when Shan got the idol from JD. Whereas they're both pretty nasty, nasty things to do as far as like playing very hard. But they edited Ricard in a way that made him seem more villainous for me personally. And Shan, obviously a contender. Obviously, her tribe numbers are super low, but I mean, it's Shan. She's dominated the entire tribe. She's gotten the biggest edit of the entire season, and she's shown that she's able to make tribal alliances within seconds with her little Liana, clip or whatever you want to call it. It seems like Liana is super duper into her, as an ally, and it seems like she's able to make bonds like that really quickly. She just kind of has like this it factor, this aura around her, which people want to be with her as an alliance member, and that's super good in the game of Survivor. All right, let's go through some superlatives. My winner pick is still Danny, although I think the Yase tribe is the tribe that has the best shot to produce the winner of the season. I think Xander, Evie, or Liana could all win the season and all have a likely shot to do so. I also think that them just being in that middle tribe spot is a really good spot numbers wise. Like if they were to merge now, they would merge 6-4-2, and they're perfectly in that middle spot, not in the Luvu spot where they haven't gone tribal, and so they're gonna flip on each other, but not in the UA spot where you're easy pickings. And so it seems like if they want to team up with the Yase tribe and take out Luvu by maybe flipping Erica or like a Heather or maybe people like that, it seems like they could do that and then just dominate the entire Luvu tribe. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen for TV purposes, but for their games, that would definitely be the best option is to flip like Erica and vote out the entirety of the Luvu tribe. And then once they're gone, you now vote out Chantel and Ricard. And then after that, vote out Erica. And then from there, it seems like the four of them can go to the end, and I think Evie beats all of them except for Xander, and that's probably a close battle. And because of the majority of women on the jury, I feel like Evie would probably win that scenario. But overall, I am still staying with Danny as my winner pick, just because I made him at the start, and I'm going to stick with it until he either screws up his game completely or he gets voted out. And so we'll just have to see. My purple edit pick is still Nasir. I feel like Nasir right now is if I had to pick someone that was going to get a purple edit in the post merge, I feel like Nasir could be that person. Just because his edit is so wonky. At first it was negative, then it was positive. First it was negative, then then it was positive again, and now it's like we are showing him in the group, but he's not really in the group. He's like the fourth member of that power trio. I don't know. It's very weird, his edit, and I don't know if he could get lost in the sauce of the edit. And if that's the case, I don't know how much they would have the incentive to show him as a character, especially if he doesn't get to the end or even get to the finale. I could see him going out in like 9th, 8th, 7th place as just kind of like a shrug off boot. As far as the worst strategical player, just overall, like if you were to drop these players in 100 different random casts, I think the player that will lose the most often is Heather. I think Heather's the worst player. And if you were to do the exact same thing, I think that Chantel would win the most times. And so that's why I feel like Chantel is the best overall player, just pure player. As far as my merge boot, pick, I'm gonna go with Erica. I feel like Erica could be the merge boot, but if not, if Erica can flip on the power trio and go with the other two tribes, then they could probably flip it on Deshawn. And so that may happen in the first round of the merge, or it may take them blindsiding Erica and then grabbing the Sears and Heathers of the world, to then vote out the power trio in Deshawn, Danny, and Sydney, in which I think Deshawn is probably the one who gets blindsided. And so it's interesting. It's a very interesting merge that sets up. Hopefully it's a merge. Hopefully it's not just a swap. That would be super boring, but it seems like it's going to be at some point 2 groups because the challenge has 2 colors, yellow and blue. And so if that's the case, it does seem like there's going to be 2 groups at some point. Hopefully that it's just that there's 2 groups and then it's like they merge after that, or I don't know, something weird like that. But I don't know. I mean, give me your thoughts in the comments as to how good this post merge post merge is going to be. Is it going to be super good or super bad? Are you confident in the cast? All that stuff. Let me know. That's it, guys. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff, guys. Thank you guys for the continued support. We're almost at 600 subs. Let's get me there. And I mean, guys, we've grown so much, guys. As always, I thank you guys so much. This is so fun to do, and I'll continue to do it if you guys keep clicking on these videos. Tune into the post-game show tomorrow. If that's it, guys, I will talk to you guys in the next one.